just different.
I am the world changer, coded by the blue storm. My number is 19, the power of all number. I am the master alchemist, the force behind the philosopher's stone. Skilled at the art of transmutation. I am the catalytic transformer of world consciousness and planetary living. I oversee the changes of the weather. I am the thunder that shatters your world systems. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies. It was I who caused the triple Aztec monuments of the Avatar archetype to appear in the ancient temple grounds. I oversee the morning and the evening stars. I behold the creator of the fifth sun, the present world. Sent forth am I to dwell among you, calling forth the sixth sun. For the great regeneration of the world's soul, to know me is to know your own power of self-generation. To know me is to know your own power of self-generation. Self-generation is power. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies.
All right. All right. How about now? Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. All right. All right. So you're in for a treat. We are actually live on Clubhouse. We're live on IG, as well as we are live on Facebook and YouTube. And it's going to be a very powerful onslaught of being able to talk about how we can elevate our consciousness in these shifting of times. And so we're doing the journey of the archetypes. The journey of the archetypes is designed, it's a journey deeper into consciousness. And as we move deeper into consciousness, we're able to tap into our cosmic memory. And as a result of that, when we tap into our cosmic memory, we tap into our galactic powers and our cosmic gifts. And this is so powerful because this is the only cosmology that I see that supports other extrasensory perception, that actually supports telepathy and things of that nature, because we are truly shifting from the information age into the telepathic age of our experience. All right. And so with that, we need to give great respect and great reverence to the consciousness of the mind and how we can move into a more dynamic position of how we think. And so I'm doing this particular series on the galactic archetypes so that you can understand there's a flow that if you follow the sequence, or what we call the synchronic order, you will be able to, in that moment, realize in terms of your memory, a greater image of yourself so that you can carry out your purpose, be more equipped to carry out your purpose and missions on this particular planet. So that's kind of where it is that we sit. And it is so powerful for us to be in this position to receive this knowledge and take possession of your own mind. Just want to do another sound check really quickly. Can everyone hear me okay on the different platforms? You can indicate on Clubhouse, you can indicate on IG. You want to make sure we're on the live stream session as well. Okay, I'm being heard on Clubhouse. Clear. Okay. Okay, so it looks like we're clear, because I don't want you to miss any of the information that's going to be shared. It's going to be life-changing. And we're going to be doing this not only today, but we're going to be doing it 4 more times tomorrow, right? We're also going to be doing it on Thursday, but we got a special segment on Thursday, right? So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will be the last day. All right, so take advantage of this. You know, we get out here and we have programs written for us on our jobs, how to be parents, you know, how to be spouses for a limited time that we are, and et cetera, et cetera. And it's just keeping us in a box. It's keeping us in a position where we're not able to really expand ourselves, but we can see expansion all around us. So I want to start with the prayer of the 7 galactic directions. And so just kind of listen in with the ear in your heart and allow you to come into vibrational alignment so that you can start to realize and remember the power of what it is that I'm saying and what we're doing in these shifting of times. All right. So here we go with the prayer of the 7 galactic directions. From the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us so we may see all things in clarity. All right, so clarity, we're seeking clarity. Not the second direction. From the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us so we know all from within. So if you don't go within in this age, you're going to surely go without. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action so we may do what must be done. Once we get all the knowledge of what we need to do, or we get the instructions from the inside out, now we got to carry out those instructions, and it may cause us or require us to transform, or i.e. change our behavior to get a new result. All right, from below, or I should say from the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest so we may enjoy the fruit of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. From the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love. Ayum Unaku Eva Maya E Maho. Ayum Unaku Eva Maya E Maho. Ayum Unaku Eva Maya E Maho. All hail the harmony of mind and nature. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. Now, just from the prayer, you don't put some energies in check. You've commanded, and who this part of you is different than your physical being or even your spirit. You are commanding the energy into totality from these different directions to show you clarity, right? Imagine how effective you can be when you got clarity on what it is that you need to do. Now, some people got clarity and they're still not able to move forward because there's some sort of block. Well, that's a psychological block. We'll take care of that. But for those of you that don't have no blockages in front of you, when you got clarity, you just go for it, and then you're going to achieve success or reach your goal very quickly. From the north, we're looking to know everything from within, so we don't got to doubt our intuition. That's one of the things that we're going to be talking about tonight. And also from the west, you know, you need to have the right behavior. So if what you were doing could get you what you wanted, you'd already have what you want. So a lot of times we keep going in the feedback loop. doing the same thing over and over again, and we don't get better results. So we may have to make some adjustments, and we need to follow our intuition to allow us, and we may have to get some training. There's other things that we need to do to practice and condition our mind and behavior for a new result, right? And then if we take the right action, we got clarity, we know from within, and we follow that, we get rewarded, right? So the South position tells us, hey, may right action reap the harvest. That means prospering. So you're going to prosper in your relationships, prosper in your finances. Relationships and finances are closely connected. The people who do very powerful things in business, they got very strong relationships, you know, and so that's very key. And it's the same thing as well, that if you have a turmoil in your personal relationships while you're moving towards a goal, a business goal, a spiritual goal, it can really impede your progress if you're not careful. So it's important that you have your relationships in check as you move forward to more projects or something that you're going to pursue in your life, right? And so if we just get those 4 down, now the other is extra. The ancestors are going to bless us. We're going to also be able to have the earth's blessing. So the earth and the power of synchronicity works on our behalf, not our behalf. And then the center of the whole galaxy is supporting us as well, which is everywhere at once. So our mind can be everywhere at once, and it will tell us through clarity where to focus the mind so that we can actually achieve what it is we want to achieve. All right. Now I say that every day, you know, and I'm not trying to make you a prayer warrior or nothing like that. But I'm going to tell you, just being able to put your heart into this will open your mind in such a way that you'll be able to move mountains with your mind. Okay, you will. And you can't get to work with everybody physically or meditate with everybody or coach everybody or give everybody advice, but you can surely pray for them. Okay, so that's the prayer. I wanted to touch on that because if you just do that every day, you are building a muscle to bring and magnetize things to you, right? That is more to your liking. All right, we follow the 13 moon calendar right now, and we start this calendar every year on July the 26th is the first moon, right? The first moon is the magnetic moon of purpose. Now we're all the way in the 8th moon. Now, each of these moons, they're 28 days each. All right. So you won't hear me talk much about the Gregorian calendar. The reason why, because it's really man-made, you know, and it's a symbol of patriarchy that's suppressing the female energy. I'll give you an example. You know, the female menstruation cycles are closely linked to the lunation cycles of the moon. Right? Because the moon orbits the earth or revolves around the earth a mean average of 28 days. So every 28 days, it completes a cycle around the earth. But that's also right in line when the female menstruation cycle is normal. It's supposed to be about 28 days. And there's a whole, outlay, right, an unfolding of how that works in the creation format, right? But with that and understanding that, we have to ask ourselves, do we want to be connected to artificial systems that produce illusions and then we end up expiring, or do we want to follow natural cycles of the cosmos, right, where we're inspired to carry out our purpose and create? And so now time becomes the evolution of consciousness and not a mechanical clock or watch, not a digital watch, and definitely not a calendar. And so us becoming mindful of this, we are in a very strong position now to realize ourselves in a different way, in a more expanded way. Okay. So that's why we follow. So we're in the 8th moon. It's called the galactic hawk moon. Galactic. The question, and each moon has a question. And this question, I want you to just think about this, right? There's the prayer. I want you to think about this question. It will help you evolve. Because, you know, the Gregorian calendar don't ask me no questions. You just say, hey, it's Tuesday. Okay. It's almost hump day. I don't want to think like that. How I want to think is, how can this energy of today help me evolve to another level in my mind? If I'm carrying 100+ million years of memory in my cerebellum, right? How do I tap into it and use it to advance me in this lifetime and lifespan? Okay. So with that being the case, the question that this moon asks is, do I live what I believe? And those of you that are on Clubhouse, you want to, you know, ask that question. And a lot of people will say, yeah, I live what I believe. Well, I would challenge you on that. I would say that that's on a very surface level. Okay. That's like, you know, you can make anything look good, right? You could dress up a corpse. You can put a suit on a corpse, but is it alive? Is it ready to create? Is it have vitality, right? And when we're talking about, do we live what we believe? We're talking about on a deeper level. Do my actions and my words match up? And if they don't, let me tell you, if they do, let me tell you what that says for you. That you are free of conflict. And let me tell you something. Abundance flows, right, to those who are free of conflict. Let me give you an example. If you have trouble making money, for example, prospering financially, it's because you got a conflict with money. If you're having trouble with your relationships, you got a conflict with yourself, and makes you have a conflict with other people, right? Let's say that you have health issues. It's because you have a conflict energetically, right? The emotional component of whatever you have is dealing with some underlying energy that has not been resolved. It's coming from a conflict. Okay. So when we do this, do I live what I believe? We want to go through at least those levels and say, do I eat what I say I'm about? Do I conduct myself in relationships, how I think and how I talk? Do I follow budgeting, and do I manage money well, or do I spend frivolously? Okay. And so you'll start to see some patterns, and you'll say, okay, I can see I got a conflict with this. So what I want to do is I want to resolve these conflicts. Now you either got to resolve it, dissolve it, right, or evolve it. And when you do, then all of a sudden it's like all this abundance flows to you. Like, where has it been all this time? Well, it's been there, but you created a partition. You created a barrier that would not allow it to actually access to you. Abundance flows to us naturally. It doesn't matter who you are, what gender, what race, it doesn't matter, because it's the energy that created the cosmos and that sustains itself through universal and cosmic law. But once you are able to deal with the conflict within yourself, you're able to do some very powerful things. And I hope that makes sense to some of you, because I talk to so many people that are struggling with relationships, so many people that have health issues, they have cancer, they have fibroids, they have high blood pressure, diabetes, Crohn's disease. And let me tell you, there's an underlying energy that's supporting that, and there's a conflict that's supporting the energy. And when you release the conflict, then there's no need or no longer the purpose for you to have the condition that you have anymore. Because the condition is to show you, hey, I'm in conflict with myself, the power of God in me. And now I need to make an adjustment. I don't need to be in conflict with the unlimited power in me. I need to be in resonance with it, right? And so that is a nugget right there, that whatever you're dealing with in those three, the big three is, your relationships, your health, as well as your finances. Excuse me. And when you got all of those lined up with that, free of worry, then you're going to be able to do some very powerful things. Ashe, does that make sense? All right, I hope it makes sense, because if it makes sense, it makes dollars, and it can really change the dynamics. And a lot of time when we have a conflict, we get mad at other people because of our conflict. It's our issue. They don't even care. And so if we can just know that, then we won't spend a lot of time trying to correct people. We'll spend the time that we need to correct ourselves. All right. So with that, I want to read the affirmation for today. And I'm going to read what we call the archetype. The affirmation, we're on kin number 136 out of 260. And so when you get your kin number, you just have subscribed to your galactic consciousness in a way. You know how you subscribe to YouTube or you subscribe to something? You just now subscribe to the galactic community and galactic consciousness of how you need to carry out your purpose on the planet. And there's 260 expressions of the creator in the form of 260 kin number. So we're on the kin number 136 out of 260 today. It's called the Yellow Rhythmic Warrior, dealing with the warrior, right? Here's the affirmation that can really trigger your memory. I organize in order to question. Now, when we talk about this, we're organizing. We're in the evolutionary cycle, right, of illusions, mastering illusions and magic. So we need to organize ourselves so that we know the right questions. A lot of people, they think they got all the right answers and they don't even know the right questions. They're unconsciously incompetent. They don't know what they don't know, and they don't even know the right question to ask to find out how to change their situation, right? So you need to organize yourself to ask the right question, right? Balancing fearlessness and the illusions. Now, interesting combination there. Fear comes from illusions. The fear is not really real. It's something that you created within yourself, right? Danger is prevalent, but fear is something that you have to kind of decide that this is how the position that your energy is going to take on a particular topic, person, place, or thing. I seal the output of intelligence. So I'm putting out intelligence to receive it back with the rhythmic tone of equality. My intelligence equalizes every situation. So let's just say that I have a health issue. Let's just say I have high blood pressure. And so once I, put out the intelligence, right, I received the download on what to do about my health. And now I put out, or I start to behave with the intelligence that clears up my high blood pressure. What happens is it normalizes and equalizes through balance. It balances out. And then I start to have a normal reading, right? I've balanced out the energy. I am guided by the output of intelligence, my own power doubles. So this energy is so strong, it's times two. Let's say it 2 more times so we can lock it in. I organize in order to question, balancing fearlessness. I seal the output of intelligence with the rhythmic tone of equality. I am guided by the output of intelligence, my own power doubled. 1 more time to lock it in. I organize in order to question, balancing fearlessness. I seal the output of intelligence with the rhythmic tone of equality. I am guided by the output of intelligence, my own power doubled. Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe-o. All right. So as we do that, I want to read you a little bit of passage about this archetype, the warrior, and this is the 16th archetype. So there's 20 of these archetypes, right? And these 20 archetypes, they represent the galactic tree of life and the galactic tree of light. So when you hear the saying, I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the light, then we have aligned our divine will with the divine spirit, and we've aligned it with the electronic and light body. And when that's in place, there's nothing we can't manifest. So I'm told. Okay. So with that, let's see what the warrior, which is also known as the pathfinder. Let's hear what we have to say about this particular dynamic frequency of light we call the warrior or the pathfinder. Listen, I am the pathfinder coded by the yellow warrior. My number is 8 doubled. The high harmonic resonance of 16 I am the pathfinder of the radio matrix. By the power of intelligence, I cut through ignorance of the illusory world. Following the signs left by the world changer, I see ways not yet seen by others. My fearless spirit clears obstacles along the way so that others may follow paths of increasing intelligence. Wearing the insignia of the fifth son, I trace the footsteps of the ancient prophet to the temple of enclosing, the house of the cosmic night. I am the pioneer of the future. All paths do I open and investigate in the name of cosmic science. Whichever way the path may lead, there will always be another treasury of knowledge to learn anew. To know me is to banish fear and see your true face bright and clear. Ashe. All right. So let's talk more about this particular archetype. And I'm going to go into what we call the Mayan Oracle. And this is really powerful. The Mayan Oracle is really puts us in a position to go into detail. What is this archetype trying to tell us? Because I like to say we're on a journey of remembrance. So everything that you experience in your life is to trigger your memory. It's a memory jogger. It's a memory jogger, right? So I have the Mayan Oracle here. And a lot of people say, well, how, Neb Teharka, how would that help me? Oh man, it answers a lot of your spiritual questions and you'll have less anxiety. You'll be one of the most poised people because you already know that whoever focuses the most is going to create the reality that they want. And you already know, no matter what it looks like, you're going to create the reality that your heart desires or how you see yourself in your heart. All right. So here we go. The spiritual pronunciation or the spiritual name for the warrior, i.e. Pathfinder, is Keeb, C-I-B, Keeb, right? Pronunciation is K-E-E-B, Keeb. And so the qualities, listen to the qualities. So we always see the positive qualities of something. That's not what stops you from being successful. When we don't acknowledge the shadows, and we're going to go into the shadow wisdom of this, so you can take care of issues that may be blocking you towards success. So listen to the qualities: grace, trust, inner voice of knowing, intuition, following inner guidance, galactic conduit, reception, mystic transmission, divine communication, cosmic consciousness, golden pillar, ferryman staff, interdimensional guides. All right, the number is 16. The element is fire, and the direction is south. So when we talk about south, we're talking about, the house, we reaping the harvest and enjoying the fruit of planetary being. Remember the south. So what is the shadow wisdom? Well, let's talk about it. This is the thing that stops us, y'all. So pay close attention. Is that we get excited about the qualities. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, I got that. But we got these shadows too. And when we ignore the shadows or we become ignorant of the shadows, then they create self-sabotage when we have opportunities to progress. So the shadow wisdom state, lacking trust in your inner knowing. That's something over these last 8 years I have grown to. No matter who agrees with me, who it benefits, I trust my inner knowing, right? Your ability to feel and act on guidance from spirit. All right. So when you're guided by the spirit, now I always say this. Now, if you're not going to listen to your spirit, you surely ain't going to listen to me. So what am I up here for? Maybe I'll trigger your memory or prick your psyche in a way that when you go through adversity, you can remember, oh, Neb Teharka was talking about that. I didn't know back then what he's talking about, but I know now. It's time for me to make a change. And that's what happens. We remember, right? We put ourselves back together in terms of memory, and then we're able to execute a lot different. Let's look at the shadow transformation. Go within and establish your divine connection. Become a direct conduit of spirit, operating divine will. And a conduit means that too as well, that when you hear the spirit through intuition, that you follow the instructions. Now, I'm not the sharpest knife in the stack. I don't profess to say that, but let me tell you what I am good at. I'm very disciplined, I'm very consistent, and I'm very good at following the instructions that come from spirit. You see? And so many of us are not. Many of us don't want to listen to nobody. We're a buck system. We're a buck this. We're a buck that. And we even don't even know it. And we buck in the spirit that's trying to intuitively communicate with us to get us from where we are to where we want to be. And like we in such a hurry to get somewhere that ain't going to help us evolve. It's going to be a temporary benefit for a permanent problem. It's going to give us enough pleasure so that we won't stop seeking it, but enough pain to doubt if we'll ever be able to have it in its entirety, right? So trust your mystical intelligence, shadow transformation, attune yourself to the clear signals from your inner guidance. So I like the words clear. So I like to operate. Here's how I like to operate. Some people ask me, well, Neb Teharka, what do you think I should do? And I say, you know what I think you should do? I think you should listen to your intuition. And if you don't get a resounding yes, then you shouldn't do it until you get a resounding yes. So 1% doubt and you're out, right? 1% doubt and you're out. So my question is, how many of you that whether you're on Clubhouse, you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, or you're on YouTube in some capacity, how many of you actually have issues, right? Trusting your intuition? Go ahead and put it in the chat, and we're going to do our best. We may not be able to respond to everybody, but just the fact that you are acknowledging it is putting you closer on the path of resolving, dissolving, or evolving the issue. But no acknowledgement means that to your subconscious mind that, okay, I'm going to keep it here. Now, the other thing about this tricky about the subconscious mind, the unconscious mind, that whatever you give it emotion, energy, emotion to, whatever you repeat, the subconscious mind thinks you want more of that. So if you say, oh man, you know, I'm too afraid. How do I know that my intuition is not the devil? And you put a lot of emotion into it. Well, guess what? Your subconscious mind is going to create a fear of the devil. And that's going to create a blockage and a barrier, and you ain't going to be able to listen to your intuition because you don't know yourself enough. You don't know thyself enough to be able, right, to know that ain't the devil, you know, and you don't even want to get into me and talk about how the devil don't need the devil we created. we can be both in our experience, but I don't want to get into that right now, you know, but trusting your intuition, that primal trust, is so important. And now when you're able to do that, you're able to operate a whole nother level with confidence, right? So if I trust my intuition, let me tell you, my intuition going to tell me if you're a con artist or not. It's going to tell me how genuine and sincere you are. It's going to tell me, should I take this job or not? Is this the right environment? Can I win here? It's going to tell me, is this the right investment for where I'm headed in terms of my purpose? It's going to tell me, is this the right companion of destiny that I need to dedicate my life to, because they're going to be able to help me when I can't help myself. See, when you have that kind of trust, then you're not worried about somebody backstabbing you or somebody putting you in a position where you're not able to be in full charge of your life. You see? And so many of us, the traumas that we've had in the past, we have an allegiance to that. We have a fear of recreating that. So even if the intuition, and we know it's coming from God, we're going to get our butt in the way. And what I heard Les Brown say years ago, but is an argument for your limitations. And when you argue for your limitations, you get to keep your limitations. It ain't hurting me. It ain't hurting the person that you mad at. You see? So these are the things that you want to be thinking about as we are talking about, do I have trust issues with intuition? And the intuition means the spirit is trying to speak to you on where to go. And let me tell you, a lot of times it's not going to make sense. That's why you lean not on your own understanding. It doesn't make sense. It's not calculable, but this is the direction I'm being shown to go, and go in that direction. And it may even be challenging, but you can't get wealthy without a challenge. Come on. You can't grow spiritually without a challenge. So to be able to think that we're going to grow spiritually and then we don't experience no challenges, it takes the purpose out of the spiritual growth and development anyway. Because you have that power, you develop that spiritual power so that you can make obstacles easier. Ashe? All right. So with that, what the Mayan Oracle is saying is to make sure that you're centered. Excuse me, that's not correct. Make sure that you go within. Now, how do you go within? You sit in a quiet place and you see yourself going within yourself to ask questions. Right? Why am I so anxious right now? And sit there and listen. How can I alleviate this anxiety? And sit there and be still and listen. And you're going to get an answer. You know, you're not in nature enough. How much water have you had today? You know, what have you been putting in your body? What did you eat today? You need to change your diet. You keep eating sugary foods and snacks and salts and things. And that's really not helping you to flush out the impurities so it doesn't block you and confuse you from what you got in your body. That's how it would have come. And so you say, okay. And so you listen and then you take immediate action like it is no tomorrow. You don't say, all right, I'll get to it next week. No, you say, you know what? I need to take a break. If you're at your job, I need to step away for a moment, and you need to take care of that. So now you can have the physical, emotional, and spiritual disposition that puts you in a position of strength, right aligned with the abundance, right in the pathway. So that's why I love calling the warrior the pathfinder, because a lot of people, they think they're warriors and they're worriers. They worry a lot. If you trust your intuition and you know who you are and how you came to be here and whose you are, you don't have to worry. You are the pathfinder, right? And you find the path, or the path finds you, so that you can be what? Your abundant self, that you can be on the path of enlightenment and you can evolve your consciousness to be God over your circumstances, right? To be God over all your affairs. So I ask people, you know, what? Are your circumstances more powerful than you? Are your urges to eat food more powerful than the power of God in you? Is your fear more powerful than the powerful God in you? Well, if you see that in your heart, then you won't ever be able to overtake your fear. So this is why we have to move into something called self-acceptance. This says, I am the source and I am the creator of my experience. And when you take that, you know, some people that may have been brought up in religious backgrounds, they may say, no, that's not true. Well, if we say we could be all things by putting God first, we could be that too, right? I am the source and the creator of my experience. You know what that means? It's not arrogance. It means that I take responsibility for what I create and draw into my life. And here's the power in that as a fearless warrior or pathfinder. If you are creating, you take that kind of responsibility for your life and you create an experience that you don't like or want, you can change the experience. Now, if you don't take that degree of responsibility, you got to ask something outside of you to please don't do this to me no more. Please. So now you're coming from a weak posture of a victim. right? And guess what? Victims, what happens to victims? That's a reality. That's a consciousness. Victims get victimized. And the interesting thing is that when they did a study on bullies, and all the bullies, they did a poll, they did a survey. It said, those of you that's been bullied before, how many of you have bullied other people? Do you know that more than 80% of those people who were surveyed said that they bullied somebody before too? So what happens? It's called karma. You get what you put out. So the victim and the victimizer are one and the same in many cases. And I can show you how that works. We won't be able to unpack that tonight, but I can show you exactly how it works, right? So you don't want to be in that paradigm. What you want to do is say, hey, I am the source and the creator of my experience. And so that, therefore, if you order something or you create something that wasn't exactly what you ordered for the reality you wanted to experience, you can send it back and say, no, let me fix a couple things within myself. And now let me go ahead and reorder it and experience what I really want to experience, right? Because you're just magnetizing what's already in you. And so when we get into denial, this is what pride will do. When we get into denial, we're denying the power of God in us to really take command and control of the situation and help us evolve through it. That's what's happening. So we're in an incredible position by just following the cosmology I'm talking about, as I call it, the synchronic order. The power of synchronicity, it fuels the power of nature. And so once we know our true nature, not the artificial one, right? And let me tell you what the artificial one is. For those of you listening on Clubhouse, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube, is the circumstantial persona. Your personality is a culmination of your experiences. And your avoidance is all about traumas that you've experienced, but that was your experience. That's on your path or your journey of remembrance, but that's not an absolute truth for everybody else. So if that's the case, we need to be finding out what's the evolved, right, identity. What is the evolved state of being for someone that that recognizes their physical, spiritual, and light body attributes? And when you find what that is, then you're going to evolve and eclipse the personality, right, that's driven by the ego. And then you're going to be able to shift into a more evolved state of consciousness and experience a different kind of reality that you're experiencing right now. All right. So the warrior is also in the court of cosmic intelligence. And so how can you continue to get more and more intelligent and lose? How can you do that? So if you work on intelligence, you work on evolving, then now you can create a different kind of experience. But if we just accept, if we're in the type of self-acceptance that just accepts things the way it is, we're always going to be at the mercy of our circumstances. So you have to pick the lifestyle that you want to experience. We're talking about having issues trusting your intuition. You know, how many of you are having that issue? You know, how many of you are having that or experiencing that right now? And in being able to do that, you know, just think about all right. So when we're able to do that, we're able to truly understand that we are in control more than we think because of the power of our intention. Now watch this. I want to share something with you that's really powerful, right? About the moon calendar. So I was talking about that we're on the 13th moon calendar and we're in the 8th moon out of 13, the galactic moon of integrity. Now, when we set an intention, there's a book out called The Power of Intention. All right. But the intention that's not backed by anything is not going to manifest, right? Because the belief in the knowing is not there, right? It already exists. We did draw it into our experience. What you want to do is this with the power of intention. So we got today and tomorrow, and then we end this galactic moon of integrity. Do I live what I believe? Once the integrity, which is the glue that holds everything together. So if you think you got integrity and everything is falling apart, then you're misguided. Okay, because integrity is the glue that creates the model for everything to sustain and advance itself. So when you set an intention, you now are in a position of strength because it's backed by integrity. I'll give you an example. What if you decided, you and your significant other decided, I want to get married. We want to get married. We're going to make a covenant, a bond, and we're going to get married. Okay, and let's just say one or both are still behaving as if they're single. The integrity doesn't match. The integrity of their behavior does not match the integrity of the covenant. So it's a matter of time. You set an intention to be married, right? But the behavior is selfish. The behavior is all about, hey, fun is not selfless for this collective, this relationship, and the family. So what's going to happen over time, you may manifest a marriage, but you may quickly get divorced, right? Because the covenant, right, and the behavior don't match. But when that covenant and the behavior match, it crystallizes into a permanent form and it's unshakable, right? So when you learn the 13 tones of creation, right, you're able to see exactly how things solidify in your life and become permanent, right? And then if that's not the case, then you get to go, well, let me start back over with this creation format. Let me start with a purpose. Let me see what's going to challenge the purpose. Let me see how to activate the purpose. Let me see how to define the purpose and create form and measure it so I know I'm making progress. Let me go ahead and be able to empower the purpose, right? These are different stages of this creation format in the form of these 13 tones, and you're able to empower any situation, relationship, business, health. You see what I'm saying? Psychology, right? Telepathy, whatever it is that you want to do, immortal architecture, whatever you want to do, you can get the key codes to do it. And if you go through those 13 stages, you're going to build it and it's going to be here to stay. It's going to be like the pyramids. It ain't going nowhere. But if you don't have the integrity of the structure, then it's not going to last. It's not going to be able to sustain itself. And then you know what's going to happen? Psychologically, you're going to be thinking, I know what's going to happen next. I'm going to achieve some success and then I'm going to fail. And then it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to keep sustaining yourself and be excited about living your life when you know you're going to fail. When you know it. And listen, you don't have to fail. It's just something that happens. So I wanted to share that. Also today, when we look at the hollow mind or the whole mind perceiver, the mind and the brain are different. I look at the brain as the processor of consciousness, and the mind is infinitum. I mean, cosmos, galaxy, universe, all this is part of the mind from a fifth dimensional perspective, that we're all connected energetically. We're just systems inside of larger systems from an energetic standpoint. So if we're connected and the earth is just another version of ourselves, the galaxy is just another version of ourselves from a fifth dimensional energetic standpoint, then we can tap into all these different levels of consciousness, and the gifts that we are able to tap into, we can use them while we're in this physical body. And this is how we start bringing in with intention, supernatural abilities, right? This is how you do it. But a lot of times we're only able to do it randomly versus intentionally. And when we understand the integral parts of it or the integrity of it, then we're able to set intentions backed on integrity, backed on confidence. I'm able to confide in myself. I know the power of God. It gives me unlimited abilities. Then that's when it's going to come to fruition. That's when you're going to be able to do it consistently with intention versus randomly and not understanding when you can use it and not use it. It takes practice. And so I'm speaking to all of you who are listening today to qualify yourself by asking that question and answering, right, with honesty. Do you live what you believe right now? And so I could tell you all about this stuff about telepathy. I could tell you all about this stuff about extrasensory perception and all these great benefits to learning this, right? But if you don't live what you believe and you don't believe in yourself, the power of God in you, not your physical abilities, I'm talking about the unlimited power in you, then you won't be able to advance yourself how you think. And let me tell you, that's a psychological problem you don't want to have. It's going to create a conflict, and it's not going to allow you to access your greatest power. All right. So work on trusting your intuition, and it takes practice. Start with little things. You'll get little hunches. Do that so that you can build your confidence and you can operate in a state of certainty. And when you do, people will follow you. Don't worry about, because see, let me tell you, the same people that's coming to you are not the same types of people that's leaving you, right? The same type of people that's coming into your organization and the same type of people that's leaving, they're different. The question is, are they the people that's coming, they're leaders, they're people that can elevate, or are they people that's coming in and the people is making the people who don't want to, put in the work, leave, right? Move out. Or are leaders leaving you, right? And people who don't want to be leaders attracted to you. You need to see what that's about, because that's going to determine, because you can only do so much by yourself. And that's going to determine what disposition or position you're in to get to the next octave in your life, to get to the next juncture. And at some point, it's going to take a team, right, that's beyond you to do it. And you'll go to that next level when your team is ready for you to go to that next level. So you're going to have to invest in your team. You're going to have to believe in your team like you believe in yourself. So with that being said, on Thursday night, I want you all to join us. We're going to be talking about the future portal. So mark your calendar. We'll be back on here with a live presentation. So I won't just be on here talking. I'll have some visual aids. I want to go ahead just real quick and share a quick 60-second video to give you a glimpse about what we're going to be talking about. And if it resonates with you, go ahead and register for the event. It will change your life. All right, so let's go ahead and roll the video, and then we'll go ahead and close out.
I could have
So this is a synchronistic human production, and we're moving from the information age into the telepathic age, and we got some decisions to make. If this is making sense to you, definitely connect with us so we can see where you are on your path, on your journey of remembrance, and give you some milestones and a roadmap to get you from where you are to where you want to be. A lot of times we learn about higher science, but we don't have a plan. Okay, so definitely reach out to me. You can reach out to me in my email at nebteharka@synchronistichuman.com. I want to close out with the definition of a synchronistic human, because I think this is vital for us to take our mind, what they say, once your mind has been stretched, it can never go back to its original state. So here's a definition of a synchronistic human that I came up with. And I really like this. And maybe this will speak to you in a way to make you choose evolution as your number one priority. The synchronistic human defined as someone who is able to be multidimensional while unifying the energy from the synchronicities of natural time cycles towards the holonomic evolution of humanity, Mother Earth, and the galactic whole. So we're covering a lot right there, that we're synchronizing this energy and opening up our mind so that we can use more than 10% of our brain from a conscious level and tap into 20 and 30 and 40%. And this 100+ million years of memory that we have carrying around with us. Now, what kind of being carries around 100 million years of memory and only uses 100 or less years of it? You see? So that means that we have been, I would call it, I won't say tricked, but we've been misguided. And we're following artificial programs than following concepts and intuition to help us access all of that memory we're not using. And I will tell you, I guarantee you that the more memory you use, the more the issues clear up in your life, and the more you start to live in a universe that doesn't have some of these adversities and things that we've experienced. The state of consciousness is going to be synonymous with the circumstances that we bring forth. People at different states of consciousness, they don't experience things that people have at lower states of consciousness do. It doesn't make them better or worse. It's all relative to the journey of remembrance. So with that being said, I'm going to close out. Join us on, we'll be back here tomorrow. We'll have a more defined overview of what we're going to be doing, talking about the future portals on Thursday. And hopefully something I said has resonated with you. In Lakesh, I am another you. Alakin, you are another me. Hotep, Hetepu, and Namaste. And remember, evolution is the solution. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 8 o'clock for the continuance of the journey of the galactic archetypes. Peace.